Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. Today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. Let's begin with question number 1. What is the largest seaport in Europe? Port of Algeciras, Port of Rotterdam, or Port of Constanta? The Port of Rotterdam. Which herb is associated with 1960s and 1970s flower children? Lavender, patchouli, or ylang ylang? Patchouli. What car company has the slogan "The Ultimate Driving Machine"? Audi, Mercedes, or BMW? BMW. Which king's power was intended to be limited through the Magna Carta? French, Austrian, or English? The English. In which U.S. city is the Anish Kapoor public sculpture Cloud Gate? Denver, Detroit, or Chicago? Chicago. Question 6. Which country's first female prime minister was Kim Campbell? Australia, Canada, or Wales? Canada. What type of sociocultural methodology was founded by Maria Montessori? Therapy, education, or communications? Education. Who was the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in different fields? Marie Curie, Albert Einstein, or Theodore Roosevelt? Marie Curie. What was the code operation name for the Allied invasion of Normandy during World War II? Overlord, Overland, or Overton? Overlord. The tax of what product was a nonviolent protest march in India led by Mahatma Gandhi? Tea, salt, or saffron? Salt. Where was the first human heart transplant performed by Dr. Christian Barnard? The UK, South Africa, or Turkey? South Africa. Who was the US president during the signing of the Camp David Accords? Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, or George H.W. Bush? Jimmy Carter. Which academic research area is the Fields Medal awarded for? Chemistry, mathematics, or astrophysics? Mathematics. Which city's name is given to the major environmental agreement signed in 1977 to combat climate change? Shanghai, Kyoto, or Chiang Mai? Kyoto. Which philosopher authored Being and Nothingness? Albert Camus, Friedrich Nietzsche, or Jean-Paul Sartre? Jean-Paul Sartre. What animal was the first clone Dolly? Donkey, sheep, or ferret? Sheep. Which Ukrainian city was the 1986 Chernobyl disaster closest to? Pripyat, Lviv, or Odessa? Pripyat. What famous speech did Winston Churchill deliver about the Iron Curtain? Sinews of Clay, Sinews of Proletariat, or Sinews of Peace? Of Peace. Which state did Hattie Caraway represent as the first U.S. Senator, female U.S. Senator? Arkansas, Arizona, or Alabama? Arkansas. Question 20. Who was the composer of the ballet The Rite of Spring? Stravinsky, Shostakovich, or Tchaikovsky? Igor Stravinsky. Where was the Solidarity movement led by Lech Walesa? Poland, Belarus, or Ukraine? Poland. Who was the artist behind the iconic painting The Persistence of Memory? Salvador Dali, Pablo Picasso, or Diego Velázquez? Salvador Dali. What was the primary cause of the Rwandan genocide? Ethnic tensions, dictatorship, or invasion? Ethnic tensions. What is J.J. Thomson credited with discovering? Uranium enrichment, electron, or MRI? The electron. What film movement was characterized by long takes and minimal editing, pioneered by Andrei Tarkovsky? Soviet masking, Soviet miasma, or Soviet montage? Soviet montage. For what sport was Dayhart Hubbard the first African American to win an Olympic gold medal? Archery, long jump, or shot put? Long jump. What type of development was the main focus of the Brundtland Report? Capitalist, sustainable, or restorative? Sustainable. What groundbreaking medical discoveries did James Watson and Francis Crick make? The structure of DNA, skin grafting, or stem cell therapy? Structure of DNA. In what area was Wangari Maathai the first woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize? Disaster recovery, environmental work, or civil diplomacy? Environmental work. What business conglomerate did John D. Rockefeller found? Standard Oil, Dutch East India Company, or Texaco? Standard Oil. What was the primary purpose of the Treaty of Tlatelolco? Sovereign governments for the entirety of South America, anti-trade agreements, or nuclear weapon-free zone in Latin America? Nuclear weapon-free zone in Latin America. Which country founded the Peace Corps in 1961? The UK, the Netherlands, or the United States? The United States. What was the form of polio vaccine that Albert Sabin developed? Injection, oral, or implant? Oral. In Germany's post-World War II economic recovery, what was Ludwig Erhard the primary architect of? The economic miracle, the economic restoration, or economic unity? Economic miracle. What animal is associated with the Apollo lunar module? Lion, bear, or eagle? Eagle. What artistic movement did Kazimir Malevich found in 1915? Cubism, modernism, or suprematism? Suprematism or suprematism. What was the primary focus of the Geneva Conventions? Justice for war victims, financial reparations for war victims, or humanitarian treatment of war victims? The humanitarian treatment of war victims. What was the first commercially successful microprocessor? Intel 4001, HP 4004, or IBM 4004. That's Intel 4004. And the answer is Intel 4004. What was the first film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1927? Gone with the Wind, Grand Hotel, or Wings? Wings. Which house was not part of the dynastic struggle for the English throne in the War of the Roses? Windsor, York, or Lancaster? Windsor. Where did Philo Farnsworth invent the electronic television in 1926? San Francisco, Las Vegas, or Phoenix? San Francisco. What discovery is physicist Murray Gell-Mann known for? The theory of time, of relativity, or the theory of quarks? The theory of quarks. What is the meaning of the name magnolia in Chinese? Dragon flower, star flower, or jade flower? Jade flower. Which animal is referenced in the famous Scopes trial? Rat, hound, or monkey? Monkey. Which artist created the ready-made art concept, exemplified by Fountain? Man Ray, Andy Warhol, or Marcel Duchamp? Marcel Duchamp. Who didn't discover the structure of insulin? Frederick Banting, Alexander Fleming, or Charles Best? Alexander Fleming. What is the name of the coffee shop in the comedy television series Friends? Central Park, Central Perk, or Ultimate Perk? Central Perk. Which landmark cannot be seen from space? The Golden Gate Bridge, the Great Wall of China, or the Kennecott Copper Mine? The Great Wall of China. Which political philosophy did Hannah Arendt explore in her work The Origins of Fascism, Racism, or Totalitarianism? Totalitarianism. Question 50. What was the operation code named for the Allied invasion of North Africa during World War II? Launch, Torch, or Brooch? Torch. What was the primary focus of the Rosenberg trial in the 50s? Murder and sabotage of scientists on behalf of the Soviet Union, espionage and sharing atomic secrets with the Soviet Union, or stealing nuclear materials and smuggling these into the Soviet Union. Espionage and sharing atomic secrets. What was the main outcome of the Yalta Conference? Post-war reorganization of Europe, post-war reorganization of Asia, or the reorganization of Africa? Post-war reorganization of Europe. What is American chemist Wallace Carothers credited with inventing? Viscose, rayon, or nylon? Nylon. Which household food is linked to visual artist Andy Warhol? Heinz ketchup, French's mustard, or Campbell's soup? Campbell's soup. What is the name of the manifesto written by the Futurist artists in 1910? The Futurist Manifesto, the Futurist Manual, or the Futurist Manuscript? The Futurist Manifesto. Which U.S. state was filed against the Roe versus Wade case? Alabama, Florida, or Texas? Against Texas. Filed against Texas. What is the proper name of the first major international treaty to control the proliferation of nuclear weapons? The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the Nuclear Non-Propagation Treaty, or the Nuclear Non-Pilfering Treaty? The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. What discovery is Edward Jenner famous for? The yellow fever vaccine, the smallpox vaccine, or the influenza vaccine? The smallpox vaccine. Which country was Benazir Bhutto the first female prime minister of? India, Nepal, or Pakistan? Pakistan. We are now at question 60. Which American author wrote Invisible Man, a novel addressing African American identity? Ralph Ellison, Richard Wright, or James Baldwin? Ralph Ellison. Which capital city was Oscar Niemeyer the architect for? Brasilia, Buenos Aires, or Santiago? Brasilia. What was the first film to gross $2 billion? Avatar, Avengers Endgame, or the Titanic? Titanic. What was the primary cause of the Exxon Valdez oil spill in 1989? Structural flaw, oil tanker ran aground, or iceberg collision? Oil tanker ran aground. What was not one of the main causes of the Spanish-American War? The explosion of the USS Maine, U.S. intervention in the Cuban War of Independence, or the U.S. invading? The U.S. invading. Who was the leader of the People's Temple cult responsible for the Jonestown Massacre in 1978? Jack Jones, Jim Jones, or Jeff Jones? Jim Jones. Which were the first Olympic Games held outside of Europe? Atlanta, Georgia, Boston, Massachusetts, or St. Louis, Missouri? St. Louis, Missouri. What did Raytheon introduce the first commercially successful version of in 1947? Of the microwave oven, vacuum cleaner, or hair dryer? Microwave oven. How many Academy Awards has Denzel Washington won? 1, 2, or 3? 2. What popular cereal was introduced by General Mills in the 1960s? Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, or Lucky Charms? Lucky Charms. Question 70. How many dimples does the average golf ball have? More than 200, more than 300, or more than 400? More than 300. What major event led to the end of apartheid in South Africa in the 90s? Declaration of end by federal government, election of Nelson Mandela as president, or the release of Nelson Mandela from prison? The election of Nelson Mandela as president. Which tennis player became the world's men's #1 in 1995? Pete Sampras, John McEnroe, or Andre Agassi? Andre Agassi. What did Selman Waxman develop the first effective treatment for? Tuberculosis, Parkinson's disease, or type 1 diabetes? tuberculosis? What 1980s fashion trend involved wearing leg warmers and spandex? Glam rock, corporatism, or aerobics? Aerobics. Which car company had the 911 sports car? Porsche, Alfa Romeo, or Chrysler? That's the 911 sports car. Porsche. What popular soda brand introduced the tagline, "The Uncold"? Mountain Dew, Fanta, or 7-Up? 7-Up. What major event did the 1985 Live Aid concert aim to address? Famine in Ethiopia is the answer. Famine in Ethiopia. Which dynasty ended with the 1911 Chinese Revolution? Ming, Qing, or Yuan? The Qing dynasty. What popular candy bar was introduced by Mars Incorporated in the 1930s? Milky Way, Three Musketeers, or Snickers? Snickers. What was the name of the Brady Bunch's housekeeper on the eponymous television series? Alice, Annie, or Alexa? Alice. What was the first major video game character introduced by Nintendo in the 1980s? Yoshi, Luigi, or Mario? Mario. Who was the first African American woman to travel into space in 1992? Dr. Melinda Jameson, Dr. Molly Jimson, or Dr. Mae Jemison? Dr. Mae Jemison. The invasion of which country started the Gulf War in 1990? Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, or Yemen? Kuwait. In which country did Oprah Winfrey open a school for disadvantaged girls in 2007? South Africa, Kenya, or Uganda? South Africa. In which U.S. city were the 1969 Stonewall riots for LGBTQ plus rights? New York City, Philadelphia, or New Orleans? New York City. Which 1993 television show featured a quirky FBI agent investigating supernatural occurrences in a small town? Twin Peaks, The X-Files, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer? The X-Files. Which word is showcased in Robert Indiana's 1960s counterculture movement sculpture? Peace, love, or freedom? Love. What multinational conglomerate was founded by Steve Jobs after he left Apple? Next, Tweet, or Link? Next. Who was the queen of disco? Diana Ross, Donna Summers, or Grace Jones? Donna Summer. Question 90. Which car model was famously known as the people's car? The Volkswagen Beetle, the Ford Model T, or the Volvo S60? The Volkswagen Beetle. What garment did Diane von Furstenberg create in the 1970s? The wrap dress, the wide leg jumpsuit, or the maxi skirt? The wrap dress. Question 92. Who was the romantic partner of Nirvana's lead singer Kurt Cobain in the 1990s? Alanis Morissette, Sinead O'Connor, or Courtney Love? Courtney Love. Which human body part is fully grown from birth? The eyeball, the heart, or the belly button? The eyeball. In which city was the leading 1992 environmental agreement signed at the Earth Summit? Mexico City, Rio de Janeiro, or La Paz? Rio de Janeiro. What was the middle name of the Kentucky Fried Chicken founder, Colonel Sanders? Harland, Holland, or Horace? Harland. Who was the first woman to host a late-night talk show in the United States? Barbara Walters, Joan Rivers, or Diane Sawyer? Joan Rivers. What fashion item became synonymous with Michael Jackson in the 1980s? The single white glove, a driving jacket, or patent wingtip shoes? The single white glove. Question 98. What fashion company is owned by Inditex? H&M, Zara, or Urban Outfitters? Zara. In what decade was the first effective chemotherapy treatment for cancer developed? In the 1940s, the 1950s, or the 1960s? The 1940s. What was the original flavor of Pop-Tarts when they were first introduced by Kellogg's in 1964? Vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry? Strawberry is the answer. And let's move on to our bonus question. What hand gesture has the same symbolism as a dove and an olive branch? Let us know the answer in the comments and how well you did. Thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.